So does that justify everything that you do?
Excuse me, let me tell you something. What do you think they were doing it for? Because they were trying to save us from poverty? No, they did it because they needed us. It's honor and family and loyalty. And some of us wanted a piece of the action. Now, we weren't educated like the Americans, but we had the balls to take what we wanted.
Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another live edition of On The Go right here on Driving to the Top Productions, where I'm your host, Big Haas, bringing the sauce this week. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing on this lovely hump day? It's Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. We have made it. When I mean we made it, we've made the full circle with football season. NFL's right on its way in a week. We got high school football soon kicking off, but college football, we are back in the saddle like the title says for this episode. It's going to be an exciting Labor Day weekend full of college football if you're into it like yours truly, which majority of the country is. So we're going to have some fun today. A lot to talk about. But before we do that, you know what to do. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Find me on X at BigHoss337. Find this show on the go at @OnTheGo_TXLA on X and Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at Marcus On The Go. Plus, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram as well. Driving to the Top Productions, you can find them on X at Driving to the Top. Subscribe to them on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. That's where they are. And this show will be presented by Poggers, because you want to know why I got so much energy? Because of Poggers, the #1 vitamin supplement of On The Go. Go to shop.poggers.shop. Big Hoss sent you. Whether you're looking for energy, hydration, or you want to help you sleep at night, go there. Use my promo code right here, OTG, to get 10% off of your order. Be positive, be hydrated, be Poggers, the #1 vitamin supplement of this show. Man, we got a lot to talk about. I'm excited about this week. So let's start on the west side of I-10. Let's get this ball rolling in the 713. Let's kick it off in H-Town. Let's go. Welcome to the land where it just don't stop. Trunks pop, tops drops in the front end hop. Now, I will be mainly talking football on this show, but now, for the time being as well, but I got to give a little love. Why don't we start a little baseball real quick? I don't have much because I feel like I'm not going to be talking a lot of Astros within the next month of September. Yes, they got one whole month left to play before we get to the postseason, but I thought I'd share a few things Astros before the rest of this show is strictly football related. So the only thing I can say about the Astros, maybe the best news of all, we got Yordan Alvarez back on the starting lineup. He's back with the roster. And so far, here's just some highlights of his career so far. His 167 career home runs so far this season, 484 total RBIs this season. His SLG, 0.573, 704 career hits so far. His WAR is at 23.2. His OPS is at .960. His career batting average, 2.95. And his OBP so far his career, .387. That's the numbers right now for Yordan, the best designated hitter we've had in quite a while. And I'm so glad to see him back on the main roster. We sure can use him because lately, I know I ain't been talking Astros a lot. All I could say is in their last couple of series, yes, they got swept by the Detroit Tigers. They did take one loss with their second series with the Baltimore Orioles, but they didn't end up winning the series. They're currently playing in a series right now where they lost to the worst team in baseball yesterday. They got embarrassed by the Rockies. I'm not going to talk about the rest of that. Just know that it took them this long to announce that they have been eliminated from playoff contention. When the last I checked, they were like, they do have the worst record in baseball. Their record right now is 38-94, where we're currently at 72-60. That's our record. We're still first in the division, but we need to keep winning because I feel like if they lose again, the Mariners will be back on top in the division. They dropped from 3rd to 5th in the American League, and they dropped from 8th to 10th overall in MLB. They need to keep fucking winning, especially when they go into their last full month of regular season play, and then we get ready for the postseason. The way they're playing, I mean, it looks like they're going to still make the playoffs, but we need to keep on winning. I don't want to get embarrassed in the playoffs again. So they need to step it up. Now that we got Yordan back, I feel like they're going to get a whole lot better. And one more thing I'm going to talk on the Astros before we take it to just football for the rest of the show. They just dropped their 2026 schedule. So we got the full schedule lined up for next year's season. I'm not going to break down the entire schedule. I'm just going to throw a couple key series we're going to have for next season. I know they're going to open up the 2026 season in a 4-game series with one of their division rivals, the Angels. 4-game series at Daikin Park. Then they go straight into a 3-game series with the Boston Red Sox March 30th through April 1st. The Yankees are coming to town next year, but they're going to come super early. They're coming in April 24th through the 26th. That's a 3-game series with the Yankees, and we don't have to play them again until late August, around this time a year from now. August 25th through the 27th of 2026. We're going to have that. All the Paul Skeens lovers out there, all you LSU fans that listen, you got a chance to come to Daikin Park to see Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're coming to Daikin Park June 2nd through the 4th. That's a big I-series to keep an eye out on. Even the Dodgers are coming to Daikin Park May 4th through the 6th. So it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday series. The only time they're going to play the Dodgers in the regular season. If you want to talk about the Lone Star series with the Rangers, first series won't be until May 15th through the 17th. 3-game series, and they'll play a 4-game series May 25th through the 28th in Arlington. They'll play another series in July 10th through the 12th in Arlington. They'll play a 3-game series July 31st through August 2nd at home. And that's it. They're only playing 4 series. We got those. What else we got? 2 series with the White Sox. One's at home, one's on the road. Braves are coming to town. Royals coming to town. White Sox, Orioles, Marlins, Rays, Guardians, Twins, Blue Jays, and of course your division opponents as well. Even the St. Louis Cardinals. That's just a few teams that's going to be coming to Daikin Park for the 2025 season. If you want to go check those teams out, or if you want to make a couple road trips, besides their division opponents, they're also making trips to Cleveland, Kansas City, Toronto, Detroit, San Diego, San Francisco, Boston, Cincinnati, Minnesota, Chicago for both the White Sox and the Cubs. They go to D.C., they go to Philly, they go to Tampa, and they go to the homeless ones, the A's, if they're still playing in Sacramento or if they end up moving to Vegas. So if you want to make a cross-country road trip to go watch the Astros in 2026, the schedule's available now. You can see it on any of their social media platforms. Facebook, X, Instagram. They got it all up, or even on the MLB's website or their website. So that's in the future. I'm currently worried about today, so hopefully the Astros can get the ball rolling. One team I can tell you who's getting the ball rolling. I'm going to do a recap of the preseason towards the end of the show, but I can just tell you for a fact that the Houston Texans ended the preseason with a strong W. They went to Detroit. They got the win 26-7 over the Detroit Lions. C.J. Stroud didn't play, but Graham Mertz, Keaton Slavis, they had a hell of a day. Graham Mertz went 14 for 16, 145 passing yards. He did have one touchdown pass to Quintez Cephas for 17 yards. Keaton Slovis went 11 for 16 and 111 passing yards. He also had a touchdown pass to Daniel Jackson for 3 yards. Johnson led in rushing, 13 carries for 55 yards, averaging 4.2 yards per carry. Woody Marks went 6 carries for 19 yards, and he also had a rushing touchdown for 9 yards. He averaged 3.2 yards per carry. 249 total passing yards for both Graham Mertz and Keaton Slovis, and 38 total carries with 150 total rushing yards in that final preseason game against the Lions. Meanwhile, in receiving, Cornell Powell led in receiving, 6 receptions for 63 yards. Quintez Cephas, 4 receptions for 51 yards plus a touchdown catch. Daniel Jackson, only 1 reception for 3 yards, but 25 total receptions for the receiving team, 256 total receiving yards against the Lions. Meanwhile, the defense looked pretty good. 45 total tackles, 26 solo, 3 tackles for a loss, and 3 sacks, courtesies of Arthur Millette, Tommy Tugai, however you fucking say his name. Jeez, I'm getting bad with this.
If one of y'all says some silly-ass name, this whole class is going to feel my wrath.
Tommy Tugai, if I said it right. And that guy, oh my God, where do they get these names from? I played that shit for a reason. But hey, they got the win. They've closed out preseason at 2-1, not bad. They get their break before they kick off the season with the LA Rams, which it's going to be tough now. Now Joe Mixon is going to be out for week 1, so that's going to probably put Nick Chubb in the backfield and running the ball for CJ Stroud. But I predicted them to lose that game, but hey, things could change. I might change my pick and have them win that, but that's going to be for next week to talk about when I do my predictions for week 1 of the NFL. Meanwhile, I know for the first time on this show, I'm actually going to get to do some football talk on this team. The Houston Cougars, they get ready for their week 1 game with Stephen F. Austin, them Lumberjacks from Nacogdoches, Texas. This is going to be the 4th total meeting with Stephen F. Austin, their first since 1948. That's how long it's been since the Cougars and the Lumberjacks have played on the gridiron. And how about this? Stephen F. Austin has won 2 out of 3 against UH. That is insane, especially with a smaller school like Stephen F. Austin. And we ain't got to wait long. The game's tomorrow night at TDECU Stadium. They're going with the classic look, red on white. It's on ESPN Plus. If you got the updated ESPN app and whatnot, I suggest you get it. Put your satellite provider info and all that, or unless you want to have to pay $30 a month. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to watch the Cougars tomorrow night. I know they're going to get the win. They're going to start off the season strong. I don't know about a score prediction here. It's going to be high scoring for UH. Maybe I say like a 57-3 maybe, or 57-7. I'll give it Stephen F. Austin no less than 3 points, no more than 7 points in this one. So hopefully Cougars start off the season with the win, and then I can come on next week and talk positive about the Cougars before they get ready for their next game. So I got UH getting their win over Stephen F. Austin. And that's all the H-Town talk I got for now. So let's move across I-10 and let's keep this ball rolling. So now we're going to take it to my neck of the woods. Let's go to the 713. Now you're in my neck of the woods. Welcome to the 337, where during this football season, I'll be talking about these two who are actually going to be playing each other next week in week 2 of college football. You got from Lake Charles, the McNeese Cowboys, and from Lafayette, you got those Raging Cajuns. Let's start with McNeese. I know the entire Cowboy Nation is ready to get back in the hole now in Navarre Stadium for their home opener as they welcome in what formerly known as Louisiana College, the LC Wildcats. Now they're known as Louisiana Christian, or if you want to call them the LCU Wildcats. They're opening up the season with LCU. And I thought this was going to be their first meeting ever. No, I'm wrong. This is actually going to be their 20th meeting overall. And the overall series for LCU is not too good because McNeese leads this series at 17-2. LCU has only beaten McNeese twice, and their last time they beat them was back in 1954, where they beat McNeese 28-0. But the last time these two met, I don't remember if it was in Lake Charles or in Pineville, but it was back in 1966. McNeese shut them out 31-0. When I look back at the history of this series, there was a lot of shutouts between both teams. And we could be possibly on the verge of another shootout. Because first off, McNeese is winning this ball game. If it's a shutout, I'm going to say maybe like 55-0. If LCU gets on the board, I don't think no more than a field goal. So it would be, I say 55-0 or 55-3. Now, I know there's been some controversy lately in the last couple days, especially when it involves the NCAA, because one thing McNeese fans are known to do, especially athletes, one of their signature signs, when it comes to like hand gestures, let's say LSU, they got the L. The Raging Cajuns got this. What's it like? Like I think TCU got that. Baylor's got this. Oh man, I used to know Oregon's got the O. Florida Gators got the chomp. Florida State got the tomahawk chop. Oh man, I used to know a bunch of Texas A&M Giga Maggies, Texas Hook'em Horns. Oh man, I used to know a bunch of hand gestures from colleges. Well, I know two colleges for sure. McNeese is one of them. The other is Oklahoma State. Since they're both the Cowboys, one of their hand gestures is the pistol. If I'm correct, I think Texas Tech might do it as well because they're the Red Raiders. We're always throwing the pistols up, but the NCAA wants to drop that because it relates to guns.
Now, isn't that a load of horseshit?
I hate to burst their bubble, but you thought trying to stop SEC fans from rushing the field when they upset a big team like Alabama or something, you're in for a long haul if you're trying to especially get fans like not just Oklahoma State, especially McNeese to stop doing this. There's nothing else we got, so get back.
Get back!
Get back!
Throw them pistols up. What are they going to do? Violate us? Phew. I call bull crap. They can't do nothing. What they going to do? Like, I get if players can't do it. These players got other reasons to celebrate. What? They're going to score a touchdown. We're going to get excited, high five, and then we're going to throw the pistols up, and they want to get at us? That's where I say, blow the whistle.
Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle.
Blow that whistle because you can't stop Poke Nation throwing the pistols up. Y'all keep throwing them pistols up. We're going to keep on going. Because first off, the NCAA.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that?
They don't when it comes to trying to do penalties for people. So let them have their moment. We're so glad to have football back. And the media and all them want to criticizing fans for keep doing this.
Shut up, bitch.
Oh, my God. Anyhow, McNeese wins big at home over LCU. Now let's move on the other side of I-10. I know the Raging Cajuns are taking on the Rice Owls. They're opening up with Rice. Seventh meeting between them. The series is actually tied 3-3. Last meeting was back in 1989. So 36 years ago was the last time they met. Raging Cajuns beat Rice and played it in Lafayette. That was actually the last time UL won. Last time they've actually met was a couple years back in 2022. Rice defeated the Cajuns, but that was the last time UL beat Rice. It was 36 years ago. It's been a long drought. I know this will also be I think it's a 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock kickoff at Our Lady of Lourdes Stadium, or if you still call it Cajun Field. I also got the Cajuns picking up a win here. So, I mean, as of right now, I'm 3-0 with picking Matter of fact, I'm just going to go off the limb. Every team I cover on this show, I'm going to pick this week. I'm picking UH over Stephen F. Austin. I'm picking McNeese over LCU. I'm picking UL over Rice. And now we get to the main topic of this show. Let's go to Tigerland. Let's go to the 225. Man, it's going down this weekend because of all the marquee matchups we have for week 1 to kick off the 2025 season. One of those marquee matchups is two teams that met not long ago for a national championship. It's LSU versus Clemson, Tigers versus Tigers. Who's the real Death Valley in this? Even though we're not playing in Baton Rouge, we're playing this one in Clemson. But it's the battle of two quarterbacks that's been in the Heisman talk so far at the beginning of the season. It's Garrett Nussmeier versus Cade Klubnik. First off, Garrett Nussmeier, big congratulations. He will now change to number 18. He's been awarded number 18, only the second quarterback in LSU history to wear that number alongside Matt Malt, where he led his team to a national championship in 2003. And started that tradition with the number 18. Remember, after he left to go to the NFL, he handed down number 18 to Jacob Hester, and he wore number 18. And it's kind of been a symbol of leadership and excellence. And it's became a tradition for LSU. Like, they give the number 18 to a player that defines leadership and works hard. The list goes on. And he joins Garrett Nussmeier joins an elite list who wore the number 18. Let's see. Like I said, started with Matt Malk. Jacob Hester wore it. BJ Ojulari wore it. I think DJ Chark wore it. The list goes on. I should have pulled the list up. Now, if you want to talk about number 7, it's going to stay on Harold Perkins Jr. He's going in his second year wearing number 7. You know, think of some of the big names that wore that number. I mean, go back to Patrick Peterson. I think he started the Brotherhood to wear number 7 to some of the most dominant players in football. Patrick Peterson to Tyrann Matthews to Leonard Fournette to Derek Stingley Jr. Like a list of those guys that all wore the number 7. I mean, there's many other players that did it too. But now Harold Perkins Jr. is going to wear it another year. So I got my first comment. Well, LSU beat Clemson. I hope they do. They're in the hot seat right now to try and win week 1. Do I need to go back to 2020? LSU hasn't won a week 1 game since 2019. August 31st, 2019 was the last time LSU won a week 1 game, and it was the year they won the Natty with Joe Burrow and company. They beat Georgia Southern. 2020, I was there. They lost to Mississippi State in Baton Rouge. 21, they lost to UCLA in the Rose Bowl. 22 and 23, they lost to Florida State. 22, they lost in the Superdome. I was there. 23, they lost in Orlando. Last year in 24, they lost to USC in Vegas. And now they open up. They're going to be opening up next year, too, with Clemson. So, and this is a historic meeting between these two because it's only the 5th meeting. LSU is 3-1 versus Clemson. They've only played each other in bowl games, 2 national championships and 2 Peach Bowls. So that means they've only played in 2 cities. They've either played in New Orleans or they played in Atlanta. LSU won the first meeting in the 1958 national championship where they beat them 7-0. They met again in the Peach Bowl. I think it was like in 96 or 97. They beat them by 1 point. The only time Clemson ever beat LSU was in the 2012 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. They won with the winning field goal, winning 25-24. Broke my heart that night. But the last time they played was 5 years ago in the Superdome, College Football Playoff National Championship, January 13th, 2020. Joe Burrow versus Trevor Lawrence. Travis Etienne versus T. Higgins versus Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I could go on. I think it was 48-25 was the final score. LSU capped off their greatest season in football history, 15-0, the greatest college football team of all time, hands down. And now their backs against the wall with Clemson, which it's a top 10 matchup. Clemson's like number 4. LSU's going in at number 9. It's in their Death Valley. So they're 80,000 plus are going to be rocking. I know they gave about 10,000 tickets to LSU fans, so there's going to be a lot of purple and gold there too. I don't know what the color scheme will be for LSU fans, but I know Clemson fans are going to be wearing orange. I feel like LSU fans should wear gold, but they're probably going to wear purple instead. But remember, Clemson also wears purple too. Comparisons to these two quarterbacks from last season. I'll start with Garrett Nussmeier. He threw for over 4,000 yards last season, 29 touchdowns. The downfall in this with comparison is he threw 12 interceptions, where Cade Klubnik only threw 6, but he had more touchdown passes thrown. He threw 36 touchdown passes, and he threw a total of over 3,600 yards, where that's where Garrett passed him up in the numbers. Garrett threw more yards than any other quarterback in 2024. Now, with the teams last year, LSU just in general, last season, over 4,000 yards thrown, over 15 total rushing yards, over 4,000 total receiving yards, 803 total tackles, 400 assists, 403 solo tackles, and 34 sacks. Where Clemson last season, their offense 1 yard shy away from 3,900 yards, over 24 total rushing yards last season, 800 in their defense, 892 total tackles, 376 total assists, 515 total solo tackles, and 35 sacks all last season. Now, we do have a couple key name players returning. I know Clemson's got a lot of players returning. That's why they're kind of considered the favorite. LSU, I know their defense is, I wouldn't say in rebuilding mode, but the only big players we got returning on defense, Whit Weeks, who last season, 61 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. Harold Perkins Jr. had 5 tackles. We also got Caden Durham back on offense at running back, 140 carries, 753 total rushing yards, and 6 total touchdowns a year ago. Aaron Anderson returning at wide receiver is another big player you can see as an impact player, not just for this game, but for this season. He had 61 receptions last year, 884 total receiving yards, and 5 total touchdowns. It's going to be a hell of a dogfight. If they pull this off, this will keep their playoff hopes safe. Even if they would lose, it would still keep it safe for a moment, because it's like, when you look at their schedule, Clemson is one of those games circled like a must-win if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. I know Alabama was like another one, despite Alabama having like a shitty season last year. We don't know what Alabama's going to look like this year. But it's like if they can surpass Clemson and Alabama at least, they have a higher chance of getting in the playoffs, whether if they go to an SEC title game or not. But I'm not giving up on them. Of course, if they lose this game, I'm going to get pissed off. There's going to come a time this season where LSU is going to really make me angry. They're going to lose a game they're not supposed to lose. And we're going to lose all hopes of them going to an SEC championship, or especially the college football playoffs. And what do they do to you?
They rip your heart out of your ass.
They've done it to me before. No, I got LSU beating Clemson. Low score, 30-27. I think they win by field goal, 30-27. So that's all I got on the LSU talk before they come back. I know after the Clemson game, I know they got 3 straight home games in the month of September. One big one indeed with Florida in like week 3. Like they got Louisiana Tech, then Florida, then Southeastern, then they go on the road to play Ole Miss. So a little break weekend. Well, it's like big game, tune-up game, big game, tune-up game, big game within the next 5 games. So they're like playing seesaw with LSU right now. Like we need to win as many games as possible if they want to have a chance to go to the college football playoffs, whether under Brian Kelly. So that's all I got on LSU. Let's go take it to the Big Easy before I can just talk about rest of football predictions and whatnot in general. So let's go ahead and take it to the 504 because I got some Tulane football and some Saints preseason to talk about. So let's hit it. So I'm going to keep Tulane a little short and sweet here because I don't have much because I don't really talk about Tulane football, but I will on this show. They're opening up their season at home, 11 a.m. kickoff at Yeoman Stadium. They're taking on the Northwestern Wildcats from the Big Ten. Only going to be the fifth meeting, and Tulane's 3-1 against Northwestern, which Northwestern is kind of like the laughing stock of the Big Ten. I don't even know when was the last time Northwestern had a very successful season. When was the last time them future doctors were like first-round picks in the NFL? I can't even tell. But it's been a long drought. Tulane and Northwestern will meet for the first time since 1956. Roll wave, you could say. I got Tulane winning this game. It'll probably be a close game. Northwestern will probably put up a fight, but that's all I got on Tulane. Let's hope they get the win. I hope they can have a magical season like they did when they beat USC in the Cotton Bowl, beat Caleb Williams and whatnot when he was the Heisman Trophy winner. All right, then I'm going to close out the New Orleans talk. So the New Orleans Saints, yeah, we know how that season's going to turn about. They went 0-3 in preseason, but don't change the fact. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl. We already know they're still in rebuilding mode, but the Saints were getting decimated first, but they were trying to make a comeback. We were still doing the QB battle, which we now know who's going to be the first-string quarterback. But the Saints took an L to the Broncos in their final preseason game, 28-19. We'll start with Tyler Shuck here. Tyler Shuck went 12 for 20 against the Broncos, 102 passing yards. Spencer Rattler went 5 for 8, 43 total passing yards. Jake Hayner, who they did waive off, so he's gone, went 5 for 9 in his final game as a Saint, 37 passing yards, 160 total passing yards between these three. Tyler Shuck also had 2 carries for 20 yards. He led in rushing, and he had 1 touchdown for 11 yards. Devin Neal, 5 carries for 20 yards, averaging 4 yards per carry. 17 total carries and 76 total rushing yards for this offense. Meanwhile, on receiving, Kevin Austin Jr. and Chris Olave both had 3 total receptions, but Kevin Austin Jr. led with 34 receiving yards with Chris Olave at 29. Trayton Welch, 1 catch for 23 yards. Rashid Shaheed, 2 receptions for 14 yards. Receiving alone, 23 total receptions and 182 total receiving yards. Where the defense, 77 total tackles, 48 solo, 3 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, courtesy of Jasheen Davis, Jonah Williams, and Christian Boyd. So, yeah. They're still in that rebuilding mode. They're gonna look like dog water. And yeah, the jokes have kind of been on them after they officially announced that Spencer Rattler will be the starting quarterback for Week 1 against the Cardinals. I had a feeling it was gonna go that way, but it was a competitive battle with Shuck and Rattler. I mean, let's just recap how their preseason went. We'll start with Spencer Rattler. This preseason, he threw 30 for 43. 295 total passing yards, only 1 touchdown pass and 1 interception. Tyler Shuck, 36 for 54 this preseason, 333 total passing yards, 1 touchdown pass, 1 interception. He did rush for a touchdown. Spencer Rattler rushed for a 2-point conversion. That was a competitive battle. We knew it was going to be. But we're going to be in for the long haul. I guess this is the start of – everyone wants Arch Manning. If he declares the draft, they feel like Saints could get the number 1 pick. They feel like the Saints are going to be the worst team in the NFL, which I digress. There's other teams I feel like are going to be worse than the New Orleans Saints. But the New Orleans Saints, I mean, they're not the only team that finished the preseason with a winless record. The Jacksonville Jaguars, the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Commanders, the Panthers, and the Falcons have all finished the preseason with a winless record. By the way, I am kind of recapping preseason right now. There were only 4 undefeated teams that ended the preseason with an undefeated record. The New York Giants was one of them. The Denver Broncos was another. The Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns. Hell, they didn't say the Miami Dolphins, even though they only played 2 games. Oh, no. Miami had a tie. I'm sorry. That don't count. This is not including ties. Yeah, they went 2-0-1, but they don't count. So, yeah, it was Ravens, Browns, Broncos, and the Giants. They were the only 4 undefeated teams left in preseason. But other than that, I don't really have much left to say on the preseason. All I'm just know is I'm glad it's finally over. Every team did their 53-man roster. Some players have been cut. Some they got to keep their jobs. I'm not going to get too much into detail with the New Orleans Saints. All I can tell you is that Spencer Rattler is the starting quarterback. He's going to be the first string. He will start against the Arizona Cardinals next Sunday. But I'm going to throw these in because I'm done talking within my neck of the woods or all across I-10. But I do got some other topics I'm going to bring up to kind of keep this show rolling because I'm already a half hour in and I still got plenty of other shit to talk about. So I got some extra cool stuff we can bring up to kind of keep this show going. So let's go on a limb. I said I got quite a bit of predictions for tonight. Since I just got done recapping the NFL preseason, I want to do some NFL division predictions right now because they're on a break before they officially go into play next week. It all kicks off a week from tomorrow with the Eagles and the Cowboys. I'm going to make some division predictions, possibly conference champion predictions, and who I predict to be in the Super Bowl this year. I'll start with the AFC. So the AFC East, after tallying up every single game all the teams are playing within the entire season, the AFC East, I got the Buffalo Bills winning this division. I have them going 13-4. Second place in the AFC East. The runner-ups, I got the New England Patriots at 8-9. Third, I got the New York Jets at 7-10. And in last place in that division, the Miami Dolphins at 2-15. The big question is Tua going to get another concussion, or are they going to wave him off and be on the clock to find another quarterback? That's the million-dollar question for the Miami Dolphins. Let's go to the AFC North. I'll start and say who I think will win this division is also, I believe, is going to have the best record in the AFC. I think the Baltimore Ravens win the AFC North and have the best record in the AFC at 14-3. Second place, I'll have the Bengals at 11-6. Third, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers at 9-8. And in last place, the Cleveland Browns at 8-9. And we already know they've announced their starting quarterback. Joe Flacco will start week 1 for the Cleveland Browns. Dylan Gabriel's now second string. And Kenny Pickett's third string. So that puts Shadir, fourth string? AFC South, I got the Houston Texans winning this at 10-7. Second place, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars at 9-8. Third place, the Tennessee Titans at 6-11. And in last place, the Indianapolis Colts at 4-13. And then finally for the AFC West will be an interesting one because I feel like it's going to go down to 1 or 3 teams. I'll just go off the limb and say the Raiders are going to go in last place. They're going to be 6-11, I believe. But in reality, I feel like it's a toss-up with the Kansas City Chiefs and the LA Chargers. And no, I'm not bringing up the fucking engagement of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. I am not doing that on this show. But I will say, I got both the Chiefs and the Chargers going 13-4. But who's going to get that one up? Who I really want to win this division is the Denver Broncos. I have them going 10-7. Probably third, but hear me out. I feel like the AFC West will be the only division to have 3 teams in the playoffs. The Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos. People were shit-talking Denver thinking they're going to be the worst team in not just the division, but the NFL.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
You better look at that depth chart. Broncos got a defense, man. And my boy, Bo Nix, he's going to have an outstanding year. I'm going to quietly root for the Denver Broncos on the side. Because don't come bashing me. I know I talk the Saints and the Texans on the show. I love Sean Payton. I love Bo Nix. But, man, I don't need nobody fucking with me in these streets.
I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets.
Don't fuck with me, please. But I hope the Broncos can pull something off. All right, the NFC. I'll start with the NFC East. It's probably no surprise here. The Philadelphia Eagles will win another division. I got the Eagles finishing 13-4. I got the Commanders coming in second in that division at 11-6. But, man, I would love for Jaden Daniels to pull some strings and shock everybody like he did last year. Bringing Washington to the NFC Championship as a rookie. Hope he can have another outstanding year like that. Maybe get Washington to a Super Bowl in the future. And hear me out. You got to do it, man. I've said it on open mic before. If Washington wins another Super Bowl, you have to let them go back to the Redskins. You just got to do it. But I'm always surrounded by assholes when it comes to the Redskins name.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Third place, unfortunately, I got the Dallas Cowboys at 6-11. And I got the New York Giants finishing last at 5-12, even though they had an outstanding preseason. I would love to see the Giants turn shit around and be better than Dallas, because Dallas is already in enough shit, especially with Jerry Jones trying not want to pay Micah Parsons and whatnot and all that bullshit. Meanwhile, the NFC North, no surprise here. I got the Detroit Lions winning that division, and I think they'll have the best record in the NFC. Just like the Baltimore Ravens, I got the Lions going 14-3. Second place, I got the Packers at 9-8. Third place, the Minnesota Vikings at 4-13, and the Chicago Bears dead last in their division at 3-14. And the NFC South, yes, don't come at me. I know. Don't worry. I did not put the Saints winning the division. I actually got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning at 13-4. The Saints, I had to make some adjustments. I was really hoping the Saints could have a dominant season, maybe like a 10-7 record. They'll probably go no better than 9-8, no worse than maybe 8-9. I just hope they do better than the Atlanta Falcons. So I got the Falcons going 8-9. And I got the Panthers dead last at 3-14. So I know we're still in that rebuilding mode. We're gonna be one of the worst teams in the NFL, I already know. Unless it leads to us drafting a better quarterback in the future, like an Arch Manning or something, or even a Garrett Nussmeier or a Cade Klubnik or Drew Allar. Lenore Sellers if he goes to the draft, EJ Lagway if he goes to the draft. They all want Arch Manning, though. Everybody in Who Dat Nation wants Arch Manning more than anybody. And finally, the NFC West took a shot in the dark. This might be one of the worst divisions, but I got the Seahawks finishing at 10-7, winning the division. I got the Rams second place at 7-10. Cardinals and the 49ers, I have both of them going 5-12, but hey, the Super Bowl's in the Bay Area, so the 49ers are going to be dead last. I don't know what's going on in San Fran, but hopefully that could lead to the Saints getting a Week 2 victory, because the Saints will host the 49ers Week 2. So from first to last in the NFC West, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals, 49ers. So that's my predictions for the NFL divisions. Conference championships, I'm going to say them here. The NFC, I'm going to narrow it down to 3. I'm not going to put this team against that team. I'm going to pick my top 3 who I think could be in the NFC Championship. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Detroit Lions, or the Washington Commanders. That's my top 3 to win the NFC. The AFC, I'm still riding on the Buffalo Bills to win the AFC. But if I had to put 2 other teams in there, I'm going to put in the Baltimore Ravens. And unfortunately, I'll have to say the Kansas City Chiefs, because I did say if the Chiefs have a winning season, I see them going no further than the AFC title game. I would love to see the Chargers make some noise. Maybe the Denver Broncos shock everybody. Could be a dark horse. The Cincinnati Bengals ain't going to do shit until they get some offensive line to protect Joe Burrow. And Super Bowl 60, I want to see two teams that never won it. So I'm going to predict Super Bowl 60 will be the Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions. We'll see who gets that first Lombardi. So that's all my predictions for the NFL in their divisions, AFC and NFC contenders, and my Super Bowl prediction. You heard it on August 27th. Let's talk about some conference champions predictions in college football. Before we do that, let's kind of do a quick recap of week 0 before I do that. They only advertised 5 games, but they had like maybe a total like 9 or 10 games total. I only predicted 5. I went 4-1. We kicked it off with a hell of a rivalry game. Iowa State, Kansas State, Farmageddon. Iowa State got the win with the field goal. Second year in a row, we had a game in Dublin in with a field goal, but their last 6 ended between a 3 to 6 point range. The upset of the day was Hawaii upsetting Stanford. What the hell's going on with those future lawyers up there in Palo Alto? I don't think I've seen Hawaii this relevant since 2007. They played damn good football, and Stanford looked like they were on vacation singing freaking Lilo and Stitch music. Stanford's like the laughing stock right now. Hawaii, I hope this team can have an outstanding year, like 2007 all over again. We also had I forgot to advertise MEAC Swag Kickoff Challenge in Atlanta with North Carolina Central Southern. Fun game to watch. Shout out to Trey Holly from Farmerville, Louisiana, former LSU Tiger who transferred to Southern. He had an 84-yard touchdown run, holding that Chucky doll on the sideline at the end. The Trey Holly show is going to be fun for HBCU. So if you love HBCU football, I suggest you check out the Southern Jags and check out the Trey Holly show. They're running back. So conference champion predictions. I'm going to predict quite a few, but I'm not going to predict literally every single one. I'm mainly focused on the ones you'll see on TV. How I'm going to do this is I'm going to pick majority of them. I'm going to pick like my top 5 contenders to win the conference. There'll be one like the Pac-12. There's only 2 teams. I'm going to pick one. I'm going to predict 2 from HBCU where I'm only going to do a top 3. Let's start with the ACC. Clemson, the defending ACC champions. Potential contenders again to win the ACC. I could see them being a contender. They beat SMU last year. SMU, they got another great quarterback. I feel like could make some noise again, another successful season. So I got SMU as a potential ACC champ. Miami, another one. They got Carson Beck, Georgia transfer. North Carolina, what Bill Belichick's going to do with the Tar Heels. I can see North Carolina as a contender to win the ACC. And if I had to pick one more, it was a gamble. I maybe like Virginia Tech or something. So that's like my top 5 contenders to win the ACC. The Big 12 is going to be interesting. 2 that played each other the other weekend are 2 I got on my list. Iowa State I have as a contender. Kansas State's another one. I got to think if I got to pick somebody from Texas. TCU, I think TCU could be a contender to win the Big 12. Oklahoma State may be a dark horse. And even the defending champs, Arizona State. I know they lost Scatabo in the draft. I don't know how many players they got returning. I know for sure their quarterback's coming back, so I got Arizona State maybe can repeat as that. Formerly known as the American Athletic Conference, now it's just the American Conference. Army won it last year. They beat Tulane, which I got both of them as contenders, especially Tulane. I think they're going to have a strong season. Army's not going to skip a beat. They can probably go back-to-back. Memphis, I think, could be a contender. UTSA is another one. They were talking high hopes on the Roadrunners. And a 5th, I'll have to probably say like another dark horse, maybe like East Carolina or something. I could see winning the American Conference. The Big 10. It was hard. It was crazy to pick 5 for this one, but I could tell you 2 for sure. The defending champs, Oregon, I could see them potentially repeating, or even Ohio State, who won the national championship. I could see potentially winning the Big 10. Michigan, you could throw them out the water with all the shit they got going on. I'm going to throw Penn State in there as a potential contender. Nebraska be like a shot in the dark. Even Wisconsin. Wisconsin goes, but they don't win it. Maybe the Badgers can pull it off. So that's my top 5 there to win the Big Ten. Conference USA, the defending champs is Jacksonville State. Can the Gamecocks go back-to-back? Maybe. So I put them down as a contender. Who I want to win the Conference USA. I want one or two teams here. I either want Western Kentucky or I want the newcomer Delaware. I put Missouri State in there too, but man, imagine Delaware's first year in Conference USA, they win the conference. That'd be crazy. You go from FCS to becoming a Division I conference champion. I'll put Missouri State in there. I'm going to give them love too for jumping up like Delaware. One final team I'll put in there, I'll put UTEP. So when it comes to hand gestures, they had this too for UTEP. The pickaxe. The Maction, they call it. If you love watching college football on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, then you're a big fan of the MAC Conference. The Ohio Bobcats are the defending champs. I see them repeating, so I got them as a contender. Maybe like a Toledo, Kent State, Bowling Green, and Buffalo. Buffalo might make some noise too. So that's my top 5 for the MAC. Mountain West, Boise State won it last year. I feel like it's either going to come down to Boise State or Hawaii. I'm going to root for Boise State, but I'm going to occasionally root for Hawaii on the side. I would love to see Hawaii win the conference. If I had to throw 3 other teams in there, maybe like a Colorado State, San Diego State, or a Fresno State to win the Mountain West. Pac-12, there's only 2 teams. I'm going to go with the defending champ, Oregon State, to win it against Washington State. Let's do the big one now. Let's do the SEC. Georgia's the defending champs. I'm going to put Georgia in there. But I'm going to pick these other 4. I mean, I'm nothing with Gunnar Stockton. I think he's a good quarterback, but he ain't no. I mean, I don't know what Georgia's really going to bring to the table, but since they're the defending SEC champs, I can see them as a potential contender to win the SEC again. But the other 4 I picked is because of quarterbacks. LSU, Texas, Florida, and a dark horse, I'll say South Carolina. That's my 5 I can see win the SEC this year. Garrett Nussmeier, Arch Manning, DJ Lagway, or North Sellers has a higher hope to win an SEC with the quarterback duo. Georgia with Gunnar Stockton, I mean, I'm not going to credit. He's kind of the dark horse too. The Sun Belt, Marshall won it, but with all the drama Marshall got, they're not even in the question to win the conference again. So I'm going to go with teams that either have won it or were close to getting to it or were runner-ups. Raging Cajuns, I think, could be a heavy favorite, so I'm going to stick with UL winning it. I'll throw App State in there. I'll throw James Madison in there, Coastal Carolina, and maybe like a South Alabama to win the Sun Belt. Let's get into some HBCU talk. MEAC, there's only 6 teams, so I only picked 3. South Carolina State won the MEAC last year. I could see them potentially repeating, but North Carolina Central's good too. Don't count the Eagles out, and I'll even throw in Howard. Give Howard some love there. The SWAC, I know Jackson State won it last year. I'm not too sure how their season can go, but I'll throw them in there as a contender. I'm going to give Southern love. I feel like Southern will be a better team this year than Grambling, unfortunately. And Florida A&M, one of the best HBCU bands of all time and best HBCU football program in the state of Florida. So I'll say Florida A&M as a potential contender. A former MEAC team that switched to the SWAC. And then last but not least, I'm going to throw the Southland Conference in. This will be the only other FCS conference I'm going to predict. McNeese is a heavy favorite, so I hope Pokes win it. Incarnate Word is the defending champs, but remember, they got upset by Nichols. Shout out to Nichols, the Colonels from Thibodaux, pulling the upset in week 0. I put Nichols as a potential contender to win the conference too. I'll throw Southeastern Louisiana in there. So that only left me out with Northwestern State, which Northwestern State will be lucky if they win another football game. And then lastly, I'm gonna throw in East Texas A&M. Name change. They're no longer Texas A&M Commerce. So That's what we got there. That's my conference champ predictions. Before college week 1 predictions. So I already gave you my picks for my teams on this show. I'm gonna do a new segment. I'm gonna call it around the state, where the other college football teams that I don't cover on this show, people tell me, "Oh, why don't you want to talk about Louisiana Tech or Grambling, Southern, UL Monroe, or whatnot?" I'll give y'all some love. I'll give my predictions for you guys to kind of give y'all some love. So outside of the teams on the show, Southern, I'll start with the Southern Jags. Even though they lost last week to North Carolina Central, they already go into conference play. They go to Mississippi Valley State. I think they pull it off and get the win there, so I'm giving them a win. 2 teams are going to play each other, Southeastern and Louisiana Tech. They're going to play at the Joe Elliott Stadium. Could be a back-and-forth game, but I got Louisiana Tech winning that one big time. UL Monroe hosts St. Francis out of Pennsylvania. UL Monroe is going to have a crappy year. I don't think I said that, but I think they'll win this game. They should win this. Grambling is hosting Langston University from Oklahoma. The Langston Lions down up there at Eddie Robinson Stadium. I think the G-men get the win there. Nichols, coming off that upset victory over Incarnate Word, they go to Troy to take on the Trojans. I think Nichols goes 2-0. Troy's going to be a lot to handle, but I think they can pull it off. So they're going to have back-to-back huge wins there. And then finally, Northwestern State, trying to get their first win in like 3 years. They go to Alcorn State to play the Braves. Another loss coming. So Alcorn State beats Northwestern State. All right, let's get to some college football predictions. I have been waiting to do this for a while. Week 1, and it all begins tomorrow night. We got some games up. I'll start with Boise State and South Florida, USF, kicking off at 4:30 in the afternoon, folks. I know it's a different Boise State team, no Ashton Jenny, but I'm still going to root for them guys. Boise State wins over South Florida. Nebraska and Cincinnati, and they're playing at Arrowhead in Kansas City. Neutral site game. It's a Power 4 matchup. It's Big 10 versus Big 12, but I feel like Nebraska's going to decimate them. It's not even going to be worth watching. I mean, I'm going to watch it, but I feel like it's going to be a blowout. Nebraska blows out Cincinnati. These are going to be Friday games right here. Auburn and Baylor down in Waco. 4th meeting between the two. First meeting since 1976, where Baylor beat Auburn by 1 point. Been a long time coming. But I would have picked Auburn, but after all them national championships they were claiming, fuck that. I'm picking Baylor. Sick 'em Bears. Beat Auburn. Georgia Tech, Colorado down there in Boulder. That's going to be the main question. What is Colorado going to be like without Travis Hunter or Shadir Sanders? What's Coach Prime going to bring to the table? Georgia Tech, remember, they pulled a huge upset last year in week 1, beating Florida State. But the fact that it's in Boulder, I'll give Colorado the win here, so I'm going with the Buffaloes. And then our Saturday slate, and it begins with probably the biggest week 1 game we've had in a long time. It's a top 5 matchup. Number 1, Texas. Number 3, Ohio State. You want to know something crazy? You think the rich history with these two programs, when you combine all their All-Americans and Heisman Trophy winners and national championships and rich history and culture, they met for the first time ever 20 years ago. 20 years ago in 2005 was the first ever meeting between the Longhorns and the Buckeyes. Who won that game? Vince Young and the Texas Longhorns. They kicked off the season in 2006 in Columbus. Ohio State took down the defending national champions. Now, their last meeting, they met again in a bowl game. I forgot what bowl it was. Texas got the win. But the last time they met at the beginning of the year, the college football playoff semifinals in the Cotton Bowl, where Ohio State took down the Longhorns and punched their ticket to the national championship. I know all eyes are going to be on this. This could just change the shape of college football with the outcome. But I feel like the fact that not only is this in Columbus, remember, College Game Day is going to be there. Big noon kickoff's going to be there. All the media is going to be there for this matchup. It's Lee Corso's last ever headgear pick on College Game Day before he retires. What was the first headgear he put on? Brutus. I guarantee you his very last headgear he's going to put on is Brutus. Plus, it's fucking Ryan Day and Jeremiah Smith and the Buckeyes. Everything's about Ohio State. I can't stand Ohio State, but something tells me they're going to find a way to pull it off. I'm not going to bet on this game. I'm not going to deal with it with FanDuel. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm just going to pick Ohio State to win. If they don't win, I will not be mad about it. I will actually laugh my ass to the bank. Not collecting money. Because that's a big win for Arch Manning, and that's going to give Saints fans high hopes of trying to get him in the draft. But Ohio State wins the game. Heart's picking Texas, but my brain's picking Ohio State. Then we got Syracuse and Tennessee. One of two games they're going to play in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz, the Aflac kickoff. So I wonder how they're going to paint the end zones for this. But Syracuse and Tennessee, their first meeting was back in 2001. Tennessee has never lost to Syracuse, and I think the streak continues. I'm going with Rocky Top. Tennessee beats Syracuse. Mississippi State at Southern Miss. I didn't realize how. I don't know if you want to call this an in-state rivalry. This ain't the Egg Bowl, but they have had quite a bit of meetings. Mississippi State is 18-12-1 against the Golden Eagles. So that meant they met 21 times. No, 31 times. I did my math wrong. They've met 31 times. This is the 32nd meeting with the Bulldogs and the Golden Eagles. Mississippi State has won the last 6. I feel like this is a must-win for them, or they'll still become the laughingstock of the SEC. Like, they'll be more of a laughingstock instead of Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's actually trying to improve better. But they're playing at the Rock. They're playing in Hattiesburg. It gets loud over there. They love their Golden Eagles. But I'm going to give this one to Mississippi State. Struggle win, by the way. Struggle win. Alabama and Florida State. This is going to be interesting to see. Down there at Doak Campbell. I'm picking Alabama to win it, but my God, can you imagine the outcome with how bad Florida State's last 2 games were? Imagine the talk about, Alabama would be so done after week 1. When was the last time Alabama lost a week 1 game? That's what I'm figuring out, but I don't see them losing anytime soon. As much as I fucking hate Alabama, I do have them winning this game. So Alabama beats Florida State. That's all the games I got for Saturday. We will have a couple of games on Sunday. We start with Virginia Tech and South Carolina, the second game that's being played in Atlanta. 21st meeting, first meeting since 1991. I mean, it's Lenore Sellers, man. It's the Gamecocks. Give me South Carolina. Sunday night, we got a good Sunday night slate here. We got Catholics versus convicts, if this was the 1980s, folks. Notre Dame and Miami. You got CJ Carr versus Carson Beck. 28th total meeting. Notre Dame leads this 18-8-1, but this is their first meeting since 2017. And I know everyone's been joking about Notre Dame changing that logo from the leprechaun with the fists up to now like running the ball, which that is the biggest downgrade since the Cracker Barrel logo, which, by the way, we got the old country folk back. We got that out the way. Maybe Notre Dame can fight like we did with Cracker Barrel and get the fist up leprechaun back. But Notre Dame wins this. I got the Fighting Irish beating the Hurricanes. And then finally, we got some Monday night college football on Labor Day. We got TCU and North Carolina. Bill Belichick's first game as the head coach for the Tar Heels. 4th meeting overall. But North Carolina has never lost to the Horned Frogs. And they're going to be for the first time since 1997. This one's a toss-up. Now, if this were college basketball, I'd be going for the Tar Heels. But There's something about them Horned Frogs that I love. Yeah, Houston's my number one Texas college team, but I got some love for TCU. As much as I hate Dallas and whatnot, but they're from Fort Worth, Texas. So, yeah, Dallas, Fort Worth, or whatnot, that shit don't count. Throw that shit out the window. But I got TCU winning against the Tar Heels. Bill Belichick's going to start his college career as a head coach with the Tar Heels with a loss. But that's all the football talk I got. But before I go, got one more prediction for you guys. I'm not hyped for it, but I'm just going to get it out of the way. We get into some wrestle talk to wrap this up. Even though I didn't do this at the beginning, but I'm going to say my wrestling predictions for Clash in Paris is going to be presented by Rogue Energy, the number one sports gaming drink in America. Whether you're looking for energy, hydration, or chill, go to rogueenergy.com or download the Rogue Energy app on any mobile device. Tell them I sent you and use this promo code right there, OTG, to get 10% off of your order. That is Rogue Energy right there. So we got Clash in Paris this Sunday, August 31st. From Paris, France, at the Paris La Défense Arena. I think it's an indoor soccer stadium. First ever PLE in Paris. I'm just going to run through this real quick because I am not hyped for this show anymore. So let's start from the bottom. Let's start Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. The fact that we're getting this instead of Stephanie Vaquer fighting for a Women's World Championship is so diabolical. Like, I really don't give a flying fuck for this match. But I'm only picking Becky Lynch to retain because why is Nikki Bella coming back? Why is she even in the Hall of Fame? I feel like the Hall of Fame's a joke. You're letting these retirees come back to steal spotlights. But I got Becky retaining, even though she's facing major heat after the Ozzy comment she made when they were in Birmingham. Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. We got the Tribal Chief versus the Tribal Thief. We got a man who wears a ulafala versus a man who wears a quote-unquote shulafala. Could be a banger of a match. But I'm going to pick Roman Reigns. If this would have been at Crown Jewel in Australia, in Bronson's home country, I'd have picked Bronson Reed. But who knows? We might get a series of this. We might get a trilogy of these two. Roman's going to end up taking all the members of the Vision one by one. But I'm going to pick Roman with the victory over Bronson Reed. Sheamus and Rusev, good old-fashioned Donnybrook match, or if you like to call it a Belfast brawl, it's like a European hardcore style match. I'm going to go with the Celtic Warrior. I'm going to take Sheamus. This is this type of match. Luck of the Irish. Then we got a fatal four-way for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Jey Uso, LA Knight. Every man for himself. No disqualifications in a fatal four-way. Champion's got a 25% chance of retaining the title. But I've been saying it for a while. Seth is going to be champion for quite some time, so get used to it. Seth Rollins retains, but the number one question is who's going to take the pinfall? A lot of people are saying LA Knight. Some are saying Jey Uso. What if Punk took the pinfall? That would be crazy. But I'll probably say LA Knight takes the pinfall. They're going to be in France. First of all, last time they were in France, Jay had the greatest entrance of all time. And he's going to have another banger entrance with the French crowd. Could be in French. Go PSG. And then I believe this will be the main event. You got John Cena versus Logan Paul. Build-up's not too strong, but I feel like it's going to be a banger of a match. Logan, as much as we hate Logan Paul, he can perform in the ring. But I'm going to give this win to John Cena. I got John Cena winning in his last match in France against Logan Paul. And that's all I got for wrestling talking. I ain't going to have no predictions for a little while, so it was nice to get that out of the way. We had quite a bit of wrestling predictions on the show this month. But again, thank you for all for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Have a safe, wonderful Labor Day weekend. If you got the day off Monday, hell yes, so do I. Be safe as we end the summer with a bang. I'm kind of glad summer's over with. We're actually getting a little cool front. I like that. That means we're blowing them hurricanes away. Keep them out of the Gulf. Keep them away from us. We're already coming to the 20-year anniversary of Katrina, so thoughts and prayers to the city of New Orleans with what they went through 20 years ago. There's like 2 different documentaries about it. You can check out either on Netflix or on Disney Plus. We're also coming to the 20-year anniversary of Hurricane Rita that hit my neck of the woods 20 years ago as well. No documentary on that, though. But I am excited to get this ball rolling. So here's one more thing. I'm going to give you like a little quick announcement of how things might shake up a little bit on this show. But no matter what, I'm going to be on every single Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Whether if I'm going to pull double duty or if I have to split shows into 2 days. Because there will be times I'm going to bring guests on, and I don't want to have them sit all throughout an hour or more to hear me preach about the Astros or college football teams, whether if they're college football fans or not, or if they're not a fan of that team. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm mainly going to have guests on that are going to come do some NFL talk with me, whether if their teams are playing the Saints or the Texans. There will be weeks where I'm going to pull double duty, where I'll do those previews. Like I'm going to do one next week. I'm doing a preview on the Saints and the Cardinals. I'm bringing a guest on. We're going to kick that show off at 7 o'clock. So mark your calendars. Next Wednesday, September 3rd, I'm going to have 2 episodes. I'm dropping a 7 o'clock show with my guests where we preview the Saints and the Cardinals, and we're going to do our NFL predictions on that. I'll catch an hour breather, and I'll come back on at 9 p.m. to do what I usually do best. Recap and preview college football and LSU and McNeese, Tulane, UL, UH, and all that good stuff. Now, there might be days where I might do one show, maybe like a Tuesday night, if I join open mic or not. But no matter what, I'm always going to do a show on Wednesday. That's like my main night of the week to talk football. It's right on the cusp of the week finishing and getting ready for the next. So that's what you hear from me. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But other than that, thank you guys again for tuning in. This was fun to watch, for y'all to watch. Fun for me to talk and give y'all some football talk and a little wrestling talk on the side, a little Astros talk. But I know you guys are ready for some football. I'm ready for the full circle. I'm ready for the NFL to come along, and we got high school, college, and the NFL all in one. But thank y'all again for tuning in. Like I said, Driving to the Top Productions. Follow them at Driving to the Top. Great people, great content. Follow them on Facebook. Follow them on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to watch all that great content. You can find 7 days a week, especially when it comes to open mic night on Tuesday nights. Check that out. But as for me, thank y'all again. Go Tigers. Go Pokes. Go Cajuns. Go Cougs. Roll Wave. College football's back, baby. I'm so excited. God bless y'all. Love y'all. Peace. I'm out. Have a safe Labor Day weekend.